And our prayer chaplain today is Olga Laluz. And our musicians are Danny Bauer and Cal Youngston. Our featured speaker is Reverend Kurt Condra today. So if we will gather our thoughts, get ready for the start of the service. If you can, you can close your eyes and take a deep breath and breathe out. Holy Presence, we know that in God, we can never be separate from love, from truth, from infinite intelligence, and the source of all good. We're gathered here today in this sacred time to open our hearts and minds to the one power and the one presence. We gratefully receive the energies of divine light and love pouring in and through us. And we affirm that we are here this morning for a divine purpose. We trust that that purpose is now being fulfilled. For we know we are now in the presence of pure being, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. And so it is. Amen. Now we have our first song for the morning.
Happy Pride. We have some fun selections for you today, so have fun with us. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. There's a new me coming out. I just have to live. I just want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like I never knew it. Ooh, we'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout, 'cause I am coming out. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I'm coming. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I've got to show the world all that I want to be, all my abilities. There is so much more to me. Somehow I have to make them just understand. I've got it all in hand, oh, what I have planned. I'm spreading love, there is no need to fear. And I just feel so good every time I hear I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, go, go. There's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 600 degrees and then they call me Mr. Fahrenheit. I'm traveling at the speed of light. I wanna make a supersonic man out of you. Don't stop me now, 'cause I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now if you wanna have a good time. Just give me a call. Don't stop me 'cause I'm having a good time. Don't stop me 'cause I'm having a good time. I don't want to stop at all. La, 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 ha, ha, ha. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. If you know it, sing it with me. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. One more time. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Gotta let it show.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you. And thank you, Danny, to set us in the mood. Thank you very much. Good morning again, everyone. We're all happy that you're here. Unity is a positive, practical approach for spiritual living based on the teachings of Jesus and the power of prayer. We believe there is truth and beauty in every spiritual tradition, and we honor the many paths to the one God. Wherever you are on the journey of faith, you're always welcome here. Our purpose at Unity on the North Shore is to create a safe space where people are empowered to take risks and live their deepest truth. If this is your first Sunday with us, which I know there are a few of you here this morning, we welcome you very much. And you're always welcome here. And many of us were surprised to learn that there was a spiritual community that thought and believed the same thing that we did. We felt like coming home. I felt that way in 1997 when I first came back from China. And I have left a few times, but I end up coming back. So I hope many of you will come back and see us again and again. So now I invite everyone to stand now and join us in the group song.
musicians. What a beautiful song. And of course, this is Pride Month, and of course, that is sacred love, yes? So beautiful to acknowledge that. So let's just take a moment and just pretend that these are your words. I'm going right into the daily word. Today we focus on optimism. My experience of the world depends on the attitude I bring to it. When I hold the positive thoughts and share the love in my heart generously, the world becomes an inviting, friendly place. Optimism makes me a magnet for positive people, exciting opportunities, serendipity of all kinds. It lifts my consciousness out of the mire of worry, anxiety, and fear, and keeps me focused on the beauty of the earth, the goodness of people, and the presence and power of God. When I perceive God in the kind acts, selfless impulses, and loving service happening all around me, my optimism grows. I feel renewed and inspired as I focus on what is right and good in my life. In gratitude for the world's wonders, I grow in optimism. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Romans chapter 12, verse 21. And let's continue in prayer as we focus on our loved ones and those around the world. Just take a few moments just to be in the silence and hold yourself and everyone in the world who needs our prayers. Hold them all in prayer. We gather in unity to celebrate and honor the diversity within our community, especially during Pride Month. We affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every individual, embracing all expressions of love and identity. With hearts open, we welcome and honor all, knowing that in love, we are one. Let's just take that in for a moment. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Just to remind you that I will be in the back of the sanctuary if you would like to pray with me. And of course, if you are on Zoom, please place your prayers in the chat box. Have a beautiful service because it's going to be lovely with our Reverend Kurt.
Okay, so for this next one, I need to teach you a part. So we're going to have to memorize this pretty quickly, but you've got it. So the first one is I am good. So let's go. I am good. The next one is I am strong. I am strong. The next one is worthy. I am worthy. And then two I ams. I am, I belong. I am, I belong. We're going to sing that part quickly, just so you can sing it with us, and then we'll do the full song. But that part, everyone's doing. I need your help. Okay, let's go. So, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am good. Let's just do that one. I am good. Next one. I am strong. I am strong. Sounds great. I am worthy. I am worthy. I belong. Let's go. I belong. Perfect. You ready for tour? Let's go. Let's get the bus. Let's go. Okay. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come take a look. give me the hug or the ovation. It's my world that I want to have a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. I don't want praise, I don't want pity. Bang my own drum, some think it's noise, I think it's pretty. And so what if I like each sparkle and each bangle? Why not try to see things from a different angle? Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. What I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck, sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. It's one life, and there's no receipt and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. Take it away, Daddy. Let's go. Sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. It's one life, and there's no receipt and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can shout out, I am what I am. I am what I am. You ready? Let's see if I remember. I am good. I am strong. I am worthy. I belong. Let's keep going. Here we go. I am good. I am strong. I am worthy. I belong. Go one more time. Here we go. I am good. I am strong. I am worthy. I belong. Yay!
Oh my gosh, nice choices, guys. I didn't even know. I know Queen was in there. I didn't recognize the rest. They're all anthems, though. It's nice, though, because you brought us right up to it. It all worked. So happy Pride, all. Gosh, I got a lot of materials up here today to talk to you about. I'm going to start with a biblical passage that I came across this week, and it just struck me as profoundly gay. See if it strikes you that way too. For nothing is covered up that will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not become known. What I say to you in the dark, tell in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim from the housetops. Yeah, does that not sound like maybe those spaces where there's a part of self that just doesn't feel like I can share with the world, you know? And I think you don't have to be queer to have those kinds of places. We have all experienced some things in life where we have felt like we're not enough or not good enough, or that we've been made to feel ashamed. And those places we kind of shrink back and we hide away from. And I love the reassurance that in Scripture, it will all become known. That actually is a part of when Jesus is sort of sitting down with the disciples to give them their big commission. Like, it's now their turn to go out and teach what he has been teaching them. And it gets to the part about, who to be afraid of. Like, there are people who are not going to like what they have to say, what Jesus has to say, what that message is about. And what he's suggesting here is that in the big scheme of things, in the eternal scheme of things, that there is nothing that can harm that in us, which is most true and which is eternal. So that's sort of the context that I'm bringing to this talk today. And the one card that I wanted to have on the top, there it is, yay. And the thing about it is I realized that I've been now a minister for 20 years. And so that's, 20 Pride Month Sundays. And I have never in that 20 years done a talk that was, that centered queerness. I don't think most of you have been around. I don't think it'd be a surprise to know that I'm gay. It wasn't a secret in my tryout talks 15 years ago when I first came here. And in my stories, I don't skip over pronouns. I talk about whom I'm dating. And so I don't think it'll be a surprise, but I have realized that this is going to be the first talk where I have centered queerness as a subject. And I had to kind of question, why is that? Like other forms of injustice, I've been pretty direct about encountering, about us being finding a spiritual perspective to move through this, but not LGBTQIA stuff. So that just know I've been through a process this week trying to figure out, okay, how are the ways in which I have not been as sort of out and proud as maybe would be most effective in terms of being able to carry forth a message about what it is to know oneness and to know divine love is the very essence of who we all are, and to share that more broadly. So that's just the piece of it that I wanted to kind of mention. And then I've also been studying and moving into some really interesting interpretations of really familiar biblical passages. And it has convinced me, I always knew that the Bible was true for everyone, that the dimensions of the expressions of truth that are described in the Bible, that the stories that the Bible reveals about our own spiritual journey, that those are true for all of us, no matter what. But what I'm really kind of delight in this week is that there are queer narratives in the Bible that are really distinctly queer, but we haven't necessarily identified them that way in the past. The one I'm going to start with, I'm going to grab this stool. I don't know why, but I feel like sitting down. The one I'm going to start with is one that I know you're all familiar with. It's the story of Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat is the Broadway version of that story, right? Which automatically, has some connotations. But as you dive more deeply kind of into the interpretation of that story, it becomes really evident that this is a queer narrative. It's a queer story. And I'm going to tell it, I'm sort of borrowing from one of the authors that I've really been enjoying lately. His name is Benjamin Perry. He's an associate preacher at Middle Church in New York. I saw them a couple of years ago. He preached there. But I picked up this book called Cry Baby, and it's all about the healing power of tears, which is kind of an adjunct to what we're doing today. But he at one point sort of talks about the beauty of this story of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Joseph and the Dreamcoat, Joseph and the multicolored coat, however it's described, or however you're familiar with it. And he tells the story from a queer perspective that is really beautiful. And essentially it comes down to this. So Joseph was the youngest of 12. I've already got it wrong. See, this is where my own bias. I'm an old gay guy, right? There's a whole new language that I've been able to sort of dive into. LGBT was it when I first came out. Now we've got IAQ+. There's bunches more letters, and that has invited me into sort of a deeper understanding of what identity and sexuality are about, yeah? So this is a story told from a trans perspective even. So I already messed up by saying Joseph and he. If we're doing this from a trans perspective, it makes really good sense to name the main character here Joe, right? That's sort of doesn't connotate a particular gender or identity. So Joe is the main character that we're talking about here this morning. And Joe was the youngest of 13 kids. He was also his daddy's favorite. Jacob favored him above all else. And Jacob invited him at one point to ask for anything. Joe invited them to ask for anything that Joe wanted, right? And so Joe's request was that, and this is where it's really kind of cool, because if we go back to the original Greek, I think it was the Greek, the word that's used is katonen passum, and it's only used one other time in the Bible, in 2 Samuel. And in that context, it's a princess's dress. So Joe has asked of their father a princess's dress, this gorgeous, flowing, many-colored dress that really allowed them to feel beautiful and sparkling and sort of not hide anything about the exuberance that they felt for life, yeah? The brothers, though, as you may recall, the brothers weren't too happy about the favored status that Joe had with their father, right? The brothers were pretty jealous about it. And at one point, they're out in the wilderness. All 13 brothers are out in the wilderness. And the 12 sort of gang up in a mob mentality against Joe. And essentially what happens is Joe is beaten to the point that they are bloodied. Help me remember the pronouns here. To the point that they are bloodied and thrown in a pit, eventually sold into slavery. They take that bloodied dress back to the father Jacob and tell him that Joe was attacked by wolves and killed. That's a queer story. Not an unfamiliar one, even in this day and age. And there's a story in my own background that it's not nearly quite that violent, but I have to wonder as I'm sitting through this, like how much that story has affected my sort of own willingness to be vulnerable and take risks. I was chased off a beach. This was back in my 20s. Chased off a beach by high school thugs with spiked clubs, essentially. And what I remember, I mean, fine, nothing happened, but it was a scary time. And what I remember most about that event is I had just met this guy, and we were kind of walking down to a more secluded part of the beach just to talk and get to know one another. And sort of circling around us came these thugs, is how I kind of think of them. What I remember most is the guy who said, "Can you run?" And in that moment I certainly could. But what I remember most is that in running away and turning back, there was an older lesbian couple sitting on the beach with us. And the look that she gave me, the woman that I can still see it really clearly, was, "Where the hell are you going, leaving us behind?" And thank God, the thugs sort of lost interest and moved on, right, once we weren't the targets. But I've always sort of regretted that I didn't have more of a consideration or concern or empathy for the two women who we had left at risk there. So there are ways in which the stuff that we've experienced that might be frightening and scary. I've never told that story before. I don't think I've even written about it. But this week it's come up as like, well, I wonder if that's why standing in front of my own congregation that knows me well after this many years, I still have never sent her a queer message. I'll sort of drop in little hints about, oh yeah, I'm gay, remember? But I've not made that a point. And I just am mindful that the sort of violence, and even if it's not like physical violence, but the emotional, psychological violence that happens against otherness is a huge, powerful sort of suppressing presence that really changes one's ability to be able to stand in our own place and to be able to claim I am strong, I am, what did we say? I am good, I am strong, I am worthy. Yeah, that gets suppressed so easily. And I think in these queer stories, what we can begin to recognize, and I'll get back to Joseph in a moment, is that the kinds of resilience and bravery and capacity to stay open-hearted and vulnerable are exactly what's required to be able to kind of shift the dynamics that create those situations in the first place, that create those kind of oppressive attitudes and the kind of It takes what we see demonstrated by queer folks standing for their own rights and in their own power is exactly what all of us needs to be able to stand in our own power and move beyond those places where we have been injured or where our own hearts are still wounded. So back to the story of Joe. Joe was rescued from the pit and made a slave in Egypt. But another gift that Joe had that they were granted. Ooh, help me with that. I'm serious. Like if you hear me mispronounce, this is a trans story, and it's really important that we're able to move into a space where we're able to sort of honor the way that folks want to be recognized. So if you hear me mess up, let me know, and also be looking for that, because probably it's a pattern that maybe you would like to change in your own sort of consciousness and becoming. So Joe was sold into slavery. They were also given an amazing gift at birth that was about an ability to read dreams, to interpret dreams. And fortunately, they never let that go. Sort of throughout even the period of slavery, it was sort of this ability, this capacity to see the deeper truth that was being revealed in dreams that actually allowed them to become a really powerful representative of the Egyptian government. Joe, in his interpretation, gained the confidence of the king. In their interpretation, gained the confidence of the king, and was able to predict that there was going to be 7 years of famine, and they did a whole conservation program and stored up a bunch of, so that there would be food for when the famine hit. And sure enough, once the famine hit, folks from all over the surrounding countries and kingdoms came to Egypt in order to plead for food. Among those who came to plead were Joe's brothers. They were facing starvation. Joe recognized the brothers. They did not recognize him. Them. You guys are good. Thank you. They did not recognize them. I'm loving that this is educational for me especially. His brothers did not recognize them. And there's a whole process that unfolds through which Joe sort of sets the terms by which trust can be rebuilt, which is kind of a beautiful demonstration, I believe, for the processes that we all are moving through to be able to, the folks who are wounded need to be the ones that are centered in any kind of a healing process, right? It can't be on our terms, those of us who are doing the wounding. It's got to be the trust has to sort of be built from a space where they can feel safe, where they can be free to really experience their own healing through that process, and whatever time that takes is the time that it's going to take, and where they can also set the terms by and which and if there's going to be forgiveness around what's happened. Yeah. So we see that demonstrated beautifully in the story of Joseph reconnecting with their brothers, right? It's there's a back and a forth that happens, and ultimately there is a reconciliation that is really beautiful. And here I want to share with you how Benjamin Perry sort of described the blessing of that process. What overwhelms me about this story, and he's speaking of, this is Benjamin speaking, what overwhelms me about this story is that these tears don't just save Joe. They actually rescue all of Israel. Jacob's 12 sons become the founders of the 12 tribes, the apocryphal forerunners of every Israelite descendant. Without the food that Joe provided, famine would have overcome the family, and there would have been no 12 tribes. The survival of a people grows out of tears wept by a queer kid who endured violence, who still dared to dream of a future more radiant than their past. Isn't that, I love that take. So, that was, of those stories that I've studied in this past week, that's the one that I found most salient and the one that's given me the most meat to kind of chew on. There are many others. I ended up using AI to kind of just see how many that AI could come up with. Share with me through a queer lens, give me some examples, and there were dozens and dozens that can easily sort of be not even recast, but I think through a lens that is much more open and receptive to different ways of being can be recognized. Another one that I think is really moving and really delightful in terms of being able to, for sort of biblical validation of different ways of being in relationship, different ways of moving through society and cultural norms, is the story of Naomi and Ruth. You may remember this one. Naomi, you may remember, was from Bethlehem, and there was a great famine, another famine story that drives change here. A great famine, and so Naomi and her husband moved to Moab as a way to sort of move there with their two sons. Their two sons married Moabite women, and then tragedy struck, and all of the husbands died. Naomi's husband and the two daughters' husbands. And Naomi sort of in this very strange country, not really being a foreigner in a foreign land, decides that she needs to return to Bethlehem. But she encourages the two daughters-in-law to remain behind and find Moab husbands. And you probably know the story. Ruth, Orpah is one of the daughters-in-law, decides to stay reluctantly. But Ruth decides that she would return to Bethlehem with her mother-in-law. And this is the passage that I think so beautifully captures what it is to be in relationship in a different way, sort of pushing up against social norms and cultural norms and really being present in a way that is resonant for especially queer relationships these days. Quote, "Do not urge me to leave you or return from following you." This is Ruth speaking to Naomi's request that she stay behind in Moab. "For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried. May the Lord do so to me, and also more, if anything but death parts me from you." So just beautiful ways in which we see modeled there the kinds of dynamics that happen now, where queer people are creating chosen families out of those who resonate most with them. The incredible capacity for loyalty and love that we see expressed there. And resilience and survival to be able to move out of really kind of dire circumstances. Women, particularly in biblical days, were largely regarded as property. And yet, here's a way in which these two women were able to sort of take control of their own lives and live from an empowered space. Just amazing resilience and survival. And a really deep sort of capacity or willingness to just break the social and cultural norms that I think can be really inspiring for those of us who are looking to honor and hold up those kinds of relationships with friends and loved ones that we know. So Naomi and Ruth, another beautiful queer story in the Bible. Another one that I really, really like, and this comes out of, I'm borrowing this interpretation from Barbara Brown Taylor, who is an Episcopal priest. She's now in academia, or I think maybe even retired, but not preaching from the pulpit anymore. But she had this sort of beautiful take on the story of the banquet in the book of John. You remember, this is when Jesus sits down with the 12 disciples toward the end of his ministry before they're about to head into Jerusalem for Holy Week and all that. What she recognizes is that there's a beautiful sort of, in fact, there's another theologian who calls the whole book of John the book of the beloved disciple. The beloved disciple is kind of a mysterious figure, never named, mentioned 5 times in the book of John, but never specifically named. We can kind of do the math and back out a couple of the disciples who were present at certain conversations and were being addressed, but we don't really know which of the disciples was the one that Jesus loved. Barbara Brown Taylor said, as if he only liked the other disciples, but the beloved disciple, the one that Jesus loved. And what we know about the banquet scene is that the beloved disciple was, in most translations, the beloved disciple was seated next to Jesus. The beloved disciple was seated in a place of honor to the right of Jesus. The beloved disciple was reclined next to Jesus. And what Barbara Brown Taylor says is if we go back to the Greek, like the word that is right there that so many Bible interpretations have tried to sort of duck around and switch, is that the beloved disciple was resting on the bosom of Jesus. Well, just picture that. Head against Jesus' heart, as close as he could possibly be. And while all the other disciples are questioning about what's going on and what's happening and what do you mean you're not going to be with us and who is this one that's going to betray you, the other disciples are all busy in mind, but the beloved disciple is resting on Jesus' bosom. And Barbara Taylor, I love it. She describes it as Jesus is sort of in his last sort of speech out, giving the disciples the inspiration, the courage to move forward from that point. It's like the heartbeat of Jesus is in one ear, and the descriptions of their work, their calling is in the other. So bump, bump. You are to do as I do. Bump, bump. You are to love as I love. Bump, bump. All that I have, you now have. Bump, bump. Like the intimacy of that relationship, I find spectacular. And especially in light of how reticent we have historically been to acknowledge that that was even a thing. Seated to the right of Jesus, reclining next to, but not resting on the bosom of. There are so many places, I think, in all of our journeys where we're also reluctant to sort of claim that level of intimacy or vulnerability. You know, we hide those away, whether out of shame or out of fear. There are ways in which these queer narratives in the Bible can sort of point us toward the kind of resilience and courage that's required, that as we begin to muster that and celebrate that, we can truly stand in our own power. We can truly hold that space of power for those we love who might be facing persecution, or who might be facing misunderstanding, or who might be facing oppression. That's not a very joyful space to end, is it? But I guess what I would like to do, and maybe in terms of meditation, is that as we move into a time of meditation, what I would like to do is suggest that we maybe acknowledge that there are spaces in our own hearts, queer, straight, whatever identity you most resonate with, that there are spaces in our hearts where we might feel less than, and there are spaces in our hearts that would benefit from being lifted up, would benefit from being recognized and seen from that space of unconditional love, that space of really honor and goodness and respect. And what I'm hoping to do is create a kind of energy that we can first extend that toward maybe someone that's on our hearts that we know might be able to use a deeper level of support, and then to recognize that that same capacity is available within us. Right? Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and prepare for a time of meditation. Let Danny and Cal set the tone for us.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready,
And so into this spaciousness where we can be most receptive to soul's calling, I invite you to breathe in deeply. Assume whatever posture is most comfortable for you. Whatever position makes you most receptive, most available to the spirit that is grounded in deep, deep love. And from that space, I invite you to call to mind someone in your life, someone you experience, who might be having doubts about their own worthiness, their own goodness. Call to mind someone for whom you can see the truth of their being. You can see their light when perhaps they cannot. And in this spaciousness of soul, I invite you to just send them a blessing, reassurance of their own value, their incredible worth, assurance that they are indeed a child of God, loved without condition, strong and beautiful to overcome whatever challenges might arise before them. See them as God sees them, perfect, whole, and complete at every level of being. Body, mind, and spirit, they are created in the image and likeness of the divine, with beautiful gifts to share, and with a divine purpose, one that will bring them a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment and confidence. Now as you breathe in, I'd like to turn your attention to yourself, your own awareness. Knowing that all of us at some point has experienced something that would have dimmed our light. But what's beautiful in this process is that having extended that awareness, that knowing, to another that we love, that we care about, that energy becomes more available to extend to ourselves. It's through kindness and service to others that we actually create a greater capacity to know it for ourselves. And so if there's anything within you that is yet unhealed, anything within you that doesn't quite feel worthy, any space where there might be a sense of shame or embarrassment, turn that same beautiful light, that same energy of affirmation toward yourself. Know that you too are a child of God. Created from love to express love, to be love. And as we prepare to close this time of meditation, I would suggest to recommend that we return to the beautiful affirmation that Cal and Danny led us in that opening song. I am good. Together, I am good. I am strong. I am worthy. I belong. So it is, and so let it be. Amen.
How beautiful there's no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Oh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. I'm on the right track. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. We're on the right track, baby. We were born this way.
Well, thank you, Cal. Thank you, Danny. And thank you most of all to Reverend Kurt for so bravely share this kind of message with us. Really appreciate it. Now is the time in our service where we share our love offerings. We can offer to help in 3 simple ways, and you can text to give. You can do donate button on our website, or you can send us a check. You can do also a recurring check that you can order directly from your bank. It's very easy to do. And for those of you that are here in this room, you can place your check or your cash in the bowl near the doors as you leave. But no matter how you give, what's most important is why you give. So here are 3 reasons why giving is important for your spiritual growth and well-being. It opens new channels of supply for us. It reminds us that God is the source of all good, and it raises consciousness like nothing does. It's so much better to give. And so now let's bless our giving and receiving. And if you are not actually giving in this exact moment, I invite you to set the intention to give. And as we speak aloud our offertory blessing, with joy and gratitude, we affirm divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Amen. So now please stand as we embrace our prosperity as we sing our offertory song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Please sit down. Now is the time at our service that we make several announcements. But before that, I want to thank the live stream team and for our musicians, Cal and Danny. And most important to all of you here with us in person or online or with us later on social media. So now, just some announcements. There's going to be after service today, a group of us will be attending the Interfaith Family Pride Fest in Evanston. And we'd love to have more of you join us. So the more, the merrier. So if you would like to join us, please see Jasmine. Where's Jasmine? I'm here. Yeah, she's in the back. You can let her know that you'll be glad to join in this Pride Fest activity. And spirit groups. This summer, we invite you to join a new spirit group called Soulflix instead of Netflix. And embark on a transformative journey with the exploration of spirituality through the lens of cinema, hosted and facilitated by Reverend Kurt Condra. And many of you that have heard many of his messages, he actually have used a lot of video clippings and movies and things to convey a point. So it's very, very enjoyable, and I only have one question. Can we join in person, or can it be Zoom?
Only in person.
Oh, only in person. Okay, because I would like to join if it's Zoom. And because, but that's all right. And the series is completely free, but you have to register and you have to come. But you didn't say when.
Tuesdays, starting June 25th from 7 to 8:30 here at church.
For how many weeks?
8 weeks, there are 8 films.
But they can join maybe a couple of times, or do they have to be in all of them?
Obviously, it's a small group experience, so part of the value of that is really getting to know one another. There'll be a short film that's maybe 10 minutes, and then much of the rest of our gathering time will be discussion, figure out what we each know about it. So that gets richer if you're together more. We're also really cognizant that it's summer and people have stuff to do, and so that's why we're doing short films, so each one is kind of self-contained, you can drop in, but the encouragement is really to attend as many as you possibly can, not just 1 or 2. Does that help?
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we would like to talk about charcuterie party that we have. And Jasmine here in the back is selling tickets for that. We have sold tickets for this charcuterie get-together hosted by Reverend Kurt and John Lindner at his house in the backyard. It's a beautiful event. And during our gala last year in November, many of you have bought tickets already. So for those that have already bought tickets, please let Jasmine know that you're planning to attend. It's June 22nd at 6 p.m. And it's really a lot of fun. It's great to kind of get to know all your friends in this church family. And we still have tickets that you can buy to attend that. And then we also have a 4th of July event that David Baker is going to talk about. Oh, we'll talk about in tune after you.
Good morning. Unity has a great tradition of marching in the Evanston July 4th parade. Jasmine dug up some pictures from the 2020 parade, and there were smiling faces, and just everybody was having a good time. But then, as we all know, COVID put a stop to that, and then there were other unfortunate events. So we haven't done that since 2020, and we would like to see who is interested in trying to resurrect that. So if you are interested in walking in the parade this year, please let me know as soon as possible. We need to sign up for this by June 10th. So please send Jasmine an email and she can forward that to me, and really encourage people to do this. It's such a great way for people to understand about unity and ask questions and learn more. And build our congregation. So please let me know. I hope you can participate. Thanks.
Thank you, David. And I hope many of you will contact him and join us for that event. And lastly, In Tune with You is our event for next week. We will not have a service next week, June 9th, but instead we will have this In Tune with You, a concert with all the musicians that have sang in our service for all these years. And it's next week, and it starts at 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. So if you're interested, please bring your lawn chair, things for picnic. We're going to have it outside, right?
Yeah, so
Yes,
you're
and
for the longest.
and there will be no service. This will be in place of our regular service. So it's 11 to 1 o'clock. So that's it. Please stand now to join us in the closing peace song and prayer for protection.
Real quick, I'll just say at the concert next week, it's not just the singers, but it'll be me with my band as well. There'll be a bass player and a drummer, so it's going to be more than just piano and voice. It'll be a whole experience. Yes.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
And now join me with prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Yay, God, yay, us. I'll see you in the back for prayer.
Still